Now that we've talked about picture language, this will give you an idea of what's going on in the next section. This section I'm going to talk about briefly. It's what's called the Te Chuan, which means the Great Treatise. It's not in the actual text of the I Ching itself, but it's another section which is trying to interpret what the I Ching means all by itself, not a particular hexagram or something like that. But it's because during certain eras in China, there was a period of time when they lost their understanding of the I Ching, the picture language and some of its meaning and so forth. So they tried to regather it and get it back to what it originally meant. And this is a very deep section that goes into great detail. Now, what I've done in my section here, as you will see when I hold it up for you, is I have this with different translators so that we can get across this idea that it's different. For example, the sections of 1.4 through 1.5, which is some of the deeper implications of what the I Ching actually means. And I have these comparative translations and interpretations with commentaries by James Legge, Richard Wilhelm, Mr. Karcher, Wang Pai, and Richard Rutt. Now, the first of them have commentaries, but Richard Rutt does not. So, for example, when I read what Legge says, it says, the Yi is made up of the principle of accordance with heaven and earth, and it shows us, therefore, without rent or confusion, the course of things in heaven and earth. Then, of course, he has his commentary. This chapter is intended still more to exalt the I Ching. It seems to say that the sage, by means of it, can make an exhaustive study of all principles of human nature, still by attaining the knowledge of the ordinances of heaven, and so on and so forth. Now, then Wilhelm translates it this way. The book of heaven contains the measures of heaven and earth. Therefore, it enables us to comprehend the Tao, T-A-O, of heaven and earth and its order. Then Wilhelm has this slight commentary. It's a long comment. I'll read a little of it. This chapter sets forth the mysterious connection existing between the reproductions given in the Book of Changes and reality. Since the book represents the complete image of heaven and earth, a microcosm of all possible relationships, it enables us to calculate the movement of every situation in which these reproductions apply. If we ask how the Book of Changes can be reproduced of the cosmos, the answer is that it is a work of men with cosmic intelligence, men who have been incorporated their wisdom in the symbols of this book. Hence, it contains the standard of heaven and earth. And then it goes on. Now, Karcher says, this book of change measures heaven and earth. Therefore, we can use it to stay in complete alignment with the way of heaven and earth. Now, he says the way. Wilhelm said the Tao. They're both the same word. And then his comment says, Chinese contains the measure of heaven and earth. So we can use the change to measure our experience. And also contains the signs of heaven and earth, the patterns of heaven and earth. That means it can offer knowledge to which light of heaven and what is dark in earth. Thus, it unites all opposites. Good example.